seen a satellite before. She knew that
Alright,
her
so
father was very interested in satellites.
some
So Betty wondered, could this be a
modifications
satellite? But then she thought,
I'm gonna do to the car
it's not
here.
behaving like a satellite.
Got some new shocks I'm gonna put on. So they're oil filled shocks, so they are right here. Put these oil filled shocks on.
It's clear at this point this was not a satellite.
See if it changes how this thing rides.
It seems to fly away to the west
and then I got my body that I painted right there. I've been running this one for a while, so I'm gonna give this one a rest. So I'm gonna take the lights out of there. It's got these lights in here, so I'm gonna take those lights out and put them in the orange one, so the orange one has lights, because I'm gonna drive the orange one for a while. I just wanted to get some videos with this body and everything being original. Now I'm gonna do a couple mods, just, you know, shocks in that body, and that's about it. Oh, and the rims. I throw these orange rims on, so they match the body pretty nice. So yeah, that's about all I'm gonna do. See if I could set this up over here, get a good shot.
Or a commercial airliner. Don't even think about that. And let's get home.
But then, as they continue driving south, Betty notices the aircraft appears to be stalking them.
Betty said to Barney, "It's coming closer, Barney." As they looked at it, it flew
This
in a
little,
zigzag pattern. And then
thank goodness this little Allen wrench came with it, because I got the screwdriver too. This hopefully will work for the lights. But I noticed that this was an Allen, and I'm like, I don't know my Allen wrench is that small. What gave us this one?
Up until now, this sighting had been at quite a distance. But now that they've driven down the road several miles, they look up, and it's still there. Fear starts to settle in. It knows that we're here. They're thinking this has a particular interest in us. There's no other cars on the highway, and this light is getting brighter, and it's getting closer.
They followed us for approximately 30 miles. And then in an area called Indian Head, it left the top of the mountain, came out over the highway, and stopped. Mid-air, the highway, right in front of us.
It's supposed to just pop off.
The metallic disc, the width and length of a commercial airliner, and as flat as a pancake, is now hovering over the road. Stunned and with nowhere to go, Barney stops the car.
Barney is now determined. He's boiled over not just with curiosity, but almost a sense of duty. I can't continue this trip until we get rid of this thing or find out what it wants. So he gets out of the car and he starts walking in the field to approach it.
Barney is a confirmed skeptic. Barney does not believe that this planet could possibly be visited by space aliens from elsewhere.
I continued to walk until I would say approximately 100 feet into steel, across the steel, and the object just above me. It must have at the time been approximately 100 feet up or above my head. This would be about 10 stories up.
And then he sees them. Gray, uniformed beings looking down at him.
He sees occupants inside of the craft, which is now tilted towards him.
And this, while looking with the binoculars, I could see what I thought down through the series of windows toward me.
They're dressed in shiny black uniforms. They were gray in complexion. They were completely hairless. They had eyes that wrapped around to the sides of their faces, larger than human eyes.
We would describe this as a close encounter of the third kind. The witness is not just seeing it at a distance, but they're actually seeing occupants within the or outside of the property. And windows are now visible, with the occupants looking at Barney, who's staring at them through binoculars. There's a direct, it seems, communication, as if to say, we came for you, and we're not going to be satisfied until we get what we want.
These figures that were looking seemingly down toward me, all the figures then, with the exception of one, moved away from the plate glass, and I could see with the binoculars what I thought were arms going up, touching or pulling on fingers.
Little red lights started to slide out from the craft on fin-like structures, and something started to drop down from the bottom of the craft.
Suddenly, Barney sees what appears to be a ramp or ladder. And now it seems like the craft is transforming as someone is planning to come out.
Well, this was too much for me. I pulled the binoculars away from my eyes, dashing back to the car. Screaming to Betty, oh my God, I said, Betty, they're going to capture us.
Sensing danger, Barney rushes back to the car.
Barney somehow knew that there was a plan, and that plan was to capture him like, quote, a bug in a net. They had to get out of there or they were going to be captured.
He was not hysterical. He was very upset, and he immediately started flying into town, trying to escape.
But it's already too late.
It's that time of fear again. Ghost Tour flights every night on Travel Channel and Discovery Plus.
Heart-pounding design, intelligent technology, outrageous performance. Discover a new world of possibilities with bold new take on the Lexus RX. Never lose your edge.
Liz, you nerd, cough if you're in here.
I took Mucinex TM for my phlegmy cough.
What about Rob's dry cough?
Works on that too, and lasts 12 hours.
12 hours? Who studies that long?
Let's pause this for a second till I figure this out.
Number one brand, doctors.
There wasn't much conversation between us from that point.
Alright, yeah. You know, parts are so small. Finally found the spot. This is where the screw's supposed to go.
When we arrived, it was daybreak, and the sun was coming up, so it was not night any longer.
So there's those ones.
After arriving home, the Hills remain puzzled.
They're both feeling a little creeped out. You know how you feel grimy after a long trip? You feel that, but it's a little different.
Betty notices that her dress has been ripped.
Yeah, this is like...
She only bought this dress just before, and this is the first time she's ever worn it. She takes it off, she feels like she doesn't want to be associated with it, and she puts it in her closet and never wears it again.
He's just trying to figure out what happened to him. And Barney doesn't really know. And it's got him deeply disturbed.
Look at
We
that.
just had a feeling
Let it
of
go in
having been exposed to something, like we had been contaminated.
Very curious. She wanted to learn more. But Barney said, Betty, don't tell anyone. No good can ever come of this. And she disagreed. She walked to
Let's
the
do one
phone
at a time this time. Maybe it'll be
and
easier
she
to
called
line
my
it up.
mother. We had a neighbor who was a physicist. Betty was concerned about the contamination. And so she asked my mother to call our neighbor to find out what she and Barney should do. He told Betty if she had a compass, that she should take it out to the car to see how the needle reacts. That's not going to measure radiation, that's going to measure a magnetic field. So apparently he knew something about UFOs that Betty and Barney didn't know.
So I went out reluctantly and took a look, and there on the front of the car was a very large shiny spot about the size of $1. The same color of the car, only as if it had been highly polished, and there must have been around 15 to 20 of these spots in no particular pattern, just spotted throughout the trunk. And when placing the compass over the spots, the compass would revolve very erratically. Anytime you take the compass and place it around any metal, particularly like a car with a battery, it will attract a magnet to it. But the fact that the compass would spin only in the area where the spot was located, I thought was a bit unusual. And then this is when my wife decided, well, we should notify someone.
Betty called my mother again, and the former chief of police of Newton, New Hampshire, was at the house having a cup of coffee. He was my father's best friend, and he said to tell Betty that she and Barney need to make a report to Pease Air Force Base, because they had notified all of the police departments that if anyone had a UFO sighting, they should report it.
Pease Air Force Base is the local Air Force base in Portsmouth, New Hampshire in 1961. Betty and Barney know people that are involved in the military there. She gets hold of somebody at Pease Air Force Base who takes their story and isn't that interested in it until they start talking about the extension wings and red lights coming out. Then he's very interested in it. The next day, they actually hear from a Captain Paul Henderson at Pease who wants to know the whole story in detail. So suddenly, they've told this story that is now being taken very seriously.
After talking with these officers by phone, I felt a great relief because they handled this with great dignity, you might say, in a very official way. And this was the responsible thing that she and I should have done, to report it to them.
Incredibly, the Hills are told of another sighting reported that night.
The officer said that the controller at the tower had reported there was an unusual craft seen on radar at 2:14 a.m. on the night that Betty and Barney had their experience.
Could the two be related?
The following day, my parents and my two brothers and I drove to Portsmouth.
Should have just made it another
Betty's and
screw.
Barney's home. I was excited in anticipation of hearing their story for myself. And we finally arrived
Like
there.
3 different places.
We went into the kitchen with Betty, and she told us about the close encounter. She told us about the buzzing sounds. We wanted to see the spots on the trunk of the car. So she took us down the hallway and out to the vehicle. I could see those very shiny spots, and I took my finger and I attempted to
Everything's so
rub the
tiny,
spot
man.
off. My mother
I'm glad I
saw
got
me
small hands. If I
and
had
said,
huge hands,
"Don't touch it! Don't touch that spot! It might
they're
harm you."
really hard.
And very quickly, I was taken back into Betty's and Barney's house. There was sort of an epiphany in the sense that here is something that I had no idea existed, but suddenly I was clued into the fact that it was real.
That epiphany will lead Kathleen on a lifelong mission to uncover what really happened to her aunt and uncle that night. Outside. And then inside the UFO.
Look at these mighty Quaker oats. Heart healthy, a good source of fiber, and for only cents per day. There's no denying Quaker oats are the grain of all time. Quaker oats, a super trusted superfood.
We obtained documents revealing that Carl's Jr. and Hardee's have Charbroil double deals starting at $2.99 each.
Can I take a closer look?
Bite into these double deals starting at $2.99 each at Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. Asking what would Pop-Tarts do is how you get from toasted jam to that's my jam. From Sunday to Sunday. So, like, what will Pop-Tarts do here? Yeah, that feels right. Crazy good.
The fully electric Audi e-tron family is here. With models that fit any lifestyle. And innovative ways to make your e-tron your own. Through elegant design and progressive technology, all the exhilaration, none of the compromise. The Audi e-tron family. Progress that moves you. On your mark, get set, save at Kohl's new 2-day deal dash. 5 early holiday gift deals. Plus, Kohl's Rewards members can save more in Kohl's buys. And everyone earns Kohl's cash. More gifts, more savings. Kohl's.
Migraine hits hard, so you hit back with Ubrelvy. You level up. You won't take a time out. One dose of Ubrelvy works fast. It can quickly stop migraine in its tracks within 2 hours without worrying if it's too late or where you are.
Unlike older medicines, Ubrelvy is a pill that directly blocks
Yeah.
believed to be a cause of migraine.
There we go,
It
there's
uses
that
strong
part.
638-4 inhibitors. Most common side effects are nausea and tiredness.
Migraine pain relief starts
Yeah, that's the
Happy could help you save. Ask about
the
Ubrelvy
shocks.
anytime, anywhere. Migraine medicine.
New shocks on there we go.
Thank you, nature.
They look really
Seeing that
cool.
Life is a little chaotic, and creating new targeted blends to help. So when our sleep, stress, and immune
It pops
health
up
are thrown
so
off, we
much
make the
like
big well
slower.
blends can help us find balance.
So much softer. Should this backward. Look at that. The other one would just be like boing. So, yeah.
There's always a seat for you at the table. Jameson, widen the
Got new shocks.
Chipotle, our garlic guajillo recipe brings a whole new dimension to steak.